Hello again, gamers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm the Board Game Captain, and today I'm going to be reviewing and talking about the Kraft Heinz variety pack of games. I want to start off by thanking Big G Creative for sending me these review copies of the Kraft Heinz variety pack. It comes with 3 games. It's got the Heinz tomato ketchup game, the Jello jiggler slap game, and the Kraft macaroni and cheese game. Now, before we get into this, I do want to say I'm wearing one of our merch shirts here. This is the Hey Good Looking, Come to This Dungeon Often shirt. If you'd like to get some cool gamer gear, shirts or mugs like this, there's a link to my Teespring store in the description down below. And if you're in a position to and would like to help out the channel, you can join my Patreon. Also a link in the description below where you can get access to early videos, behind the scenes videos, and even the ability to request review and tutorial videos to your favorite classic games. All right, now without any further ado, we're going to get into this. So again, I want to give a big thank you to Big G Creative for sending me this review copy of the Kraft Heinz variety pack. That being said, there's going to be no hiding the fact that this is going to be a negative review. I've been kind of dreading doing this review since I checked out the rules and tried out these games. So early on, I was really trying to like these games, and I hate having to do negative reviews, but if a game is bad, it warrants it, and then I have to talk about it. And this is one of those cases where the games are not really that good. So if you all get upset and don't like watching negative reviews, now's the time to switch off. Just know that I'm not going to wind up recommending this pack. But yeah, so let's get into it. So you've got technically actually 4 games here, because there's 2 games in the Jello jiggler slap game here. I usually like to end with positives. So I guess I'm going to go from my least favorite to my favorite. So we're going to start with the Jello jiggler slap. Yes, that means it's my least favorite. All right, so what do you get in the Jello jiggler slap in the Kraft Heinz variety pack? So first off, it looks like it looks exactly like a box of Jello mix, which this is one of my positives. I know I said I like to end with positives, but I'm going to end with the game I'm most positive on. It looks just like a box of Jello gelatin mix, which that is a positive for me because that's amusing, and that's the most interesting part of these, in my opinion, is the packaging and all. I know that's not a very good sign that that's the most interesting part. All right, so here's what you got in here. You have Jello cards, which will say things like left hand, right hand, and a color of Jello. Like here is right hand strawberry. Or sometimes they'll have a jiggle. Like this one is a jiggle blueberry. So now these are because the dealer will be dealing these out to command people what to do. You'll have piles out on the table of all the different colors of actual Jello. Let me find some different colors. I did a strawberry one, so I'll pull a strawberry one out. And there's 6 different colors. You've got orange, you've got green. They're all different shapes. The cards look nice. This is one of the productions on these are some of the better parts of these games in general. All right, so the main game, there's 2 games in here, but the main game goes like this. You have the 6 piles of Jello out on the table. This one, by the way, you need a minimum of 4 people to play. And the reason for that is it's kind of a real-time speed slapping game. So one player, you each take a turn where one player is the dealer. Everyone else has a chance to slap. The dealer will pull up one of the Jello cards. So they might say left-hand yellow, because they pulled up a left-hand yellow card. And what happens is everybody has to rush to slap the yellow pile of Jello with their left hand. First person to slap it with the left hand gets to take a yellow Jello card into their hand of cards. If they accidentally slapped it when they already had a yellow Jello card, they don't get it, and they actually lose the yellow Jello card they had. So you have to be careful. Don't rush to slap if it's a card you already have. Basically, this is the entirety of the basic game. That's how it plays. You each take turn, you read it. If it's left hand slap of a color, you got to use your left hand. If it's right hand, you got to use your right hand. If it's the jiggle one, you have to jiggle before slapping it. There's really not a whole lot to this game. It's very little kiddish. I would imagine that very young children, I'm talking like preschool age, would get a kick out of this, would giggle with this. But even not so young children, not even older children, but just not so young children would probably find this to be too kiddie-ish. And if you're a parent that bought this for your kids because of the fact that you need 4 people to play it, you're going to wind up having to play it with your kids. And it's going to be one of those games where you're like, why did I buy this for my children? Because now I have to play this terrible game. It's not good. Jello Jiggler Slap is not good. It's not. And then they put in a second game, so I was like, oh, well, maybe that'll be good. Maybe that's going to be a good game. It's not. So the other version is just essentially one person is the dealer. Everybody gets a hand of 4 of the box Jello cards, the ones that are like, you know, the right hand strawberry, ones like this. You get 4 of these, and you're trying to get all 4 of the same color. And you put out the Jello cards in the middle of the table, and the dealer will draw one, decide if they want it or not, and if they don't want it, they pass it on to the next player, and it gets slowly passed around the table. But it's real time, so you just keep going quickly. And if you're able to get all 4 of the same, you then grab one of the Jellos from the middle of the table. There will be one less Jello than the number of players, basically, so that there's not enough to go around. And if you're the first player to collect 4 Jello Jiggler cards, you win. There's even less to this game. This second Jello Jiggler game is, which, did they give it a different name because there's no slapping in it? Jello bonus card game. That's the name of it. Very imaginative, very creative. Jello bonus card game. It's terrible. I don't like it. I'm going to move this on. Okay. Okay, so next we've got the Kraft Macaroni and Cheese game. I love Kraft Macaroni and Cheese. I love that this looks like the box for Kraft Macaroni and Cheese. Now, it comes after the Jello Jiggler Slap game, and I did say that these games were going to get better as they went. And I didn't lie. I like this one a little bit better than the Jello Jiggler Slap game. I despise the Jello Jiggler Slap game, so a little better is relative. But there's a lot of big, like, head-scratching moments in this game. So the gist is, you put the box out, you put the little, you know, Cheezosaurus Rex mascot on the box. The box has, on the back of it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You put them on the 1 space. Everybody gets a whole bunch of these little noodle punch-out chits here. And you deal out the cards so that you basically deal out every frickin' card. So the cards are number cards, things like, you know, 5s and 2s and 1s and 11s and whatever it might be. Everything from a 2 to a 12. And then you have Cheezosaurus Rex cards. You deal them out evenly and deal out as many of these as you can. If there's excess where you won't be evenly, you get rid of them, basically. And then you each throw some of the little noodle punch-out shits into the pot. So you got one of the noodles into the pot each at the start. Okay. So then what happens is, on your turn, you roll the dice. And you roll, like, okay, I rolled an 8. So what I'm going to do is, on my turn, I'm going to look for, do I have an 8? Yes, I put the 8 down. No, everybody else gets to put an 8 down. That's really the whole game. I know that sounds crazy. If you roll a 7, which is, of course, the most common number to be rolled on 2 dice, instead of being able to place a card, what happens is you shout Noodle Boost. The Cheezosaurus Rex moves up on the little table here. He's now moved to number 2, so now everybody has to put 2 of their noodle chits into the pot. There's, like, a lot to do with these noodle chits, and in reality, when you get to the end of the game, this is only for a tiebreaker. This actually has nothing to do with the main point of the game, which blew my mind when I got to that part of the rules, because I'm like, wait, no. wait, we've been spending all this time putting these in the pot. Why is this not like how you win? So, okay, so basically what happens is, again, you just keep rolling, and it's this game plays itself. There's literally no choices. I find it slightly more amusing than the Jello game, but there's literally no choices. The only choice is the Cheezosaurus Rex cards. Instead of putting more noodles in the pot as it goes up and up and is making you put more and more noodles in, you can decide to play a Cheezosaurus Rex card to not put those noodles in. But the thing is, it's totally random who gets more Cheezosaurus Rex cards than the other players. By the way, this one plays at a minimum of 3 players. So one player may wind up with a lot of the Cheezosaurus Rex cards, and the other players may wind up with very little. And that can be very, very unbalanced. And generally speaking, you're not going to play those cards early. You're going to wait till it's getting up to like 6s and 7s. When it gets to the 7 spot, it stays at the 7 spot, and every other time someone rolls a 7, you're always putting 7 noodles in. If you run out of noodles, you're out of the game. So there's player elimination. Whoop-de-doo. That's great. And then essentially, when it's over, if you haven't been eliminated and you've gotten rid of all your cards, you win and you get the pot of noodles. And like, so what? What did the noodles have to do with anything? You get the pot of noodles. But you won. You won without it doesn't make any sense. The only time the noodles come into it is if you and another player win at the same time. Then you split the pot of noodles evenly, and the tiebreaker is who has more noodles. So basically, whoever, by luck of the draw, got more of the Cheezosaurus Rex cards, and then maybe played them a little bit better, which really playing them better is just waiting for it to go up to trying to get you to throw in 6s and 7s, because 7s are going to come up a lot on these dice, so it's going to get all the way up to that 7. You waited, you played them more sparingly, you probably have more noodles than your opponent. That's the whole game. This is better than the Jello game, just because it's slightly amusing, but it's also because there's not that stupid jiggle while you slap a card thing, which I despised that mechanic. That was in the Jello Jiggler game. But this is bad too. This is not good. Okay, I'm going to get this out of the way. All right, now I'm going to get to my favorite of the 3 games. I feel nauseous. Okay, this is the... I really do. Like, I got to tell you, I've been dreading doing this review because I hate doing negative reviews. If a game is bad, I will do a negative review because it deserves it. And I had a friend of mine ask me recently if I'm afraid of doing negative reviews. And I said to him, I said, you know what? If a company sends me a really bad game and it deserves it, I'm not afraid of doing a negative review, because if this is what the company thinks passes for a good game, I don't care if I upset them, because I don't want them to send me really any more games, because I wouldn't want to have to review something like this again. But it still kind of makes me a little bit nauseous to do. I don't like crapping all over games. All right, so here we have the only game of this pack that I would say is not terrible. This one rises to the lofty heights of mediocrity. It is the Heinz tomato ketchup dice game. Also has the coolest package, that it has a plastic ketchup bottle. It comes with a little score pad. This is going to be very important. It's got the rules, comes with a little pencil. That's nice. Also comes with my favorite components out of any of these games, which are the dice. The dice are cool. They have a bunch of stickers on them. There are different things. The dice are not all the same, by the way. There's different numbers of things on the dice. There are Heinz tomato ketchup labels. There are Heinz relish labels. There are mustard labels. There are Heinz 57 logos, and amongst all of the 5 dice, there's only a single side with a Heinz ketchup bottle on it. And the way this works is it's made to be like a press your luck dice game. It very much feels to me like the person who designed this probably was inspired by zombie dice, but in a lot of ways it feels like they missed the mark about what made zombie dice good. Okay, so here's the deal. On your turn, you're going to roll the dice. You can roll all of them up to 3 times. So you roll them, and what you need to get at least some ketchup labels to continue on and keep rolling. So I got 2 ketchup labels. That's 2 possible points. I also rolled 2 mustard labels and 2 relish labels. These do nothing unless I roll all 5 of just mustard or all 5 of just relish. I'll explain that in a minute. So I have 2 possible points. I can stop rolling and I can take the 2 points. 2 points is not that much. I'm probably going to keep rolling. Now, again, I can press my luck and keep rolling up to 3 times. So I've got 2 possible points. I'm going to roll again. Let's see what I get. Okay, I got no ketchup labels, but I got Heinz 57. So the Heinz 57 was the first thing that really struck me while playing this game. And I wanted to like this game so bad because I like the components. I think the plastic bottle, which you usually use the cup to roll. I'm just rolling with my hands so they don't go all over the place. But I like the bottle. I like the dice. The Heinz 57 thing was the first thing that made me like go, huh? Why did you bother doing this? So here's the thing. It looks like it should be extra special, and it's not. Essentially what it is usually if you roll no ketchups, you bust. No ketchup labels, you bust. You cannot keep rolling. A Heinz 57, which I just rolled, says you don't bust, but you don't get any extra points. So I got the 2 labels in the first round. I was at 2 points. I can still get my 3rd roll. Okay? I'm still only at 2 points. You know what? Let's use the cup. I'm still only at 2 points. I'm going to roll again. Again, still the coolest part of it. Okay. I got 1 more label. I get 3 points. Boom. I'm going to put my 3 points down. I'm going to pass on to the next player. They're going to go. They're going to roll. It's like, okay, let's see what they got. They got 1 ketchup label. They're going to keep going. 2 ketchup labels. They're up to 3 possible points. They're going to keep going. Oops, they busted, but they got the Heinz 57 so they can keep it. They'll get their 3 points, so it's not a bust. Okay. There's a few other things that can happen in this. If you roll all 5 ketchup labels, instead of it being worth 5 points, it's worth 10 points. That can feel kind of cool when it happens. It's going to be rare, very rare, but if it happens, it could feel kind of cool. I see that. However, if you roll all 5 relish labels, or all 5 mustard labels, it can't be all 5 relish or mustard. It's got to be all 5 relish or all 5 mustard. You lose 10 points, and you bust. And this is through no fault of your own, and it doesn't build up slowly like the shotgun blast do in Zombie Dice. So like the shotgun blast in Zombie Dice, you get 1 and you're not allowed to re-roll that. And you're like, ooh, uh-oh, am I going to press my luck? You know, I mean, if you get a few of these, it doesn't matter. You're picking them up and rolling them again, so you don't really care. It doesn't feel as much like a press your luck game. The thing about the relish and the mustard coming up, which again, I'm not even really sure why these are negative, since these are actually other products made by Heinz. And when we were playing it, Lynn was like, I don't get it. I like mustard better than ketchup. Why is mustard bad? I don't know. It's weird. Okay. The other final thing that's on here is the ketchup bottle. A ketchup bottle is worth 5 points when it comes up. And it's the one time that will have you sometimes thinking you may not push to roll again. Because if all you've gotten is a few points, you're going to keep rolling. Every once in a while, you roll the ketchup bottle along with a few labels, and you're like, that's 8 points. You know what? I'm going to stop because I don't want to bust and lose my 8 points. And then you might stop. And so now, here's how this game goes. All right, you're racing to try to get 57 points. It's thematic. It's Heinz 57. I get that. If you get exactly 57 points, if you can get exactly 57 points, the game ends and you're the winner automatically. First person to 57 wins. On the other hand, if you try to get exactly 57, you accidentally go over the 57 points, you bust and you're out. On the other hand, if you're getting really close to 57, let's say you hit 55 or 56 and you're like, oh, I'm really close and I don't want to roll too many more. You can stop, do that as your final score. You tell everybody else, catch up. And yeah, it's thematic. And then they have to race to try to get more than you. So if you got 55, other people aren't going to stop at 54 or 55 since you've already got 55. They're going to try to get at least 56. If not 57, and again, if you're the first person to 57, you're out. Now, there is player elimination sort of in this, where if you go over, like you would go over in Blackjack, you're just out. But this is such a quick game that actually the player elimination isn't bad. But the rest of the game is just full of all these incredibly questionable mechanics. Why did they not do something where if you Like, if relish and mustard is bad, why did they not do something where you're not allowed to re-roll those dice when they come up, so you get stuck with them and you actually feel like you're like, ooh, should I roll again or should I not? And they didn't do that. Also, the Heinz 57 logo, which is a rare thing to roll, is not really that special. It's just sort of like a fallback. I mean, if you roll some ketchup labels and you roll the Heinz 57, it doesn't give you anything extra. This really should have been something more special. Also, the rolling of the 5 mustards or the 5 relishes feels very, very like you're being penalized for something that's completely not your fault. It's a total random chance, so it's kind of eh. They're at least, unlike the Jello Jiggler Slap and the Kraft Macaroni and Cheese, at least there's a few more choices in this. You decide, are you going to roll and keep trying to get more points, or are you not? If you've got a lot of points, you're probably going to be incentivized not to roll again, but you might if one of your opponents is really close to getting that 57 points. So that's something. So again, overall, I would say it's the best of the 3 games. If this was the only game, though, it's still not good enough for me to recommend. And that's the problem here. The other 2 are just awful. Really, like really awful. Jello Jiggler Slap and Kraft Macaroni and Cheese. That's just the game. Kraft Macaroni and Cheese original mac and cheese game. These are just not good. At least, like, I feel like the Heinz tomato ketchup game is mediocre, but if you want to play a press your luck dice game, I would say go get yourself some zombie dice, or some King of Tokyo. Don't get this. Okay, so the first game I ever played from Big G Creative was at a convention back in 2019 when conventions were still happening, and I played their Trapper Keeper game, and it was fun. I liked the Trapper Keeper game. After that, I was like, oh, okay, these guys put out some fun games that play on nostalgia, and that's cool. And I was interested to try some more of them. They had sent me an email about this, and I was like, oh, this looks cool. If it's anything like the Trapper Keeper game in level of quality, I'm going to like this. So I asked to review it. They sent me the stuff, and now, here's the thing. I've now played 4 games from them, and three of the 4 games, though they came in one pack, were not good. And in regard to Big G Creative, you guys should not have put this out. You should have spent some more time developing better games to represent Heinz tomato ketchup, Jello, and Kraft Macaroni and Cheese, because this is going to leave a bad taste in people's mouths, pun intended, and they're not going to want to buy other games from your company. Again, after playing the Trapper Keeper game, I wanted to play other games from your company, and now 3 out of 4 of the games I've played from your company have me thinking I need to be more wary about it. And I probably wouldn't even ask for a review copy of games from Big G Creative again at this point, unless they had something that I'd really, at this point, something I'd done my homework on and was really sure I was going to like. I jumped at the opportunity to review this one because it looked funny and because of my previous experience with one of their previous games. But this is not good. The only one I could even be convinced to play again is the Heinz tomato ketchup game. I could be convinced to play this if somebody really wanted to try it. I could not be convinced to play the Jello Jiggler Slap or the Kraft Macaroni and Cheese game again. They're just bad. First time playing this, I was wrapped up in the nostalgia and I really wanted to like it, but the more I thought about it and the more I checked it out, the more I realized it's not bad, but this one's mediocre. If it was on its own, I'd probably give this like a 5 or maybe a 4.5. It's meh. It's very meh. The other ones are like 3s. They're not good. They're really not good. So overall, I've been debating on this. I'm going to give the Kraft Heinz Variety Pack 4 stars out of 10 because it's not good, but at least with one of them I could be convinced to play it again. I think this is the one that brings it up to a 4. 4 is not something to aspire to. This is not very good. Oh, man. Alright, well, if you actually watched all this and stuck with me, comment down below if you've played these and if you disagree with me. let me, you know what? Let me know if you enjoyed these. I would like to hear from someone if they enjoyed these games, if they disagree with me, because you know what? I hate dwelling on such negativity. So please, if you enjoyed these games, let me know down below. If you did not enjoy these games, let me know down below too. But yeah, that's it. So if you enjoyed this review and tutorial, be sure to give it a like, share it on all forms of social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube. And until next time, game on.